The first single was Work, which was a collaboration with Drake. And if you've not been living under a rock for the last 5 to 10 years, you would know there's no one really bigger of a name and more of a hit maker these days than Drake. And when this album came out in 2016, that also applied. The single was a smash hit. It was number one in the US and all across the world. And so this album finally had kind of some momentum going up to it and got a lot of people's interest. Finally, the album, when it was released, it actually was kind of a messy release. It actually leaked on Tidal, the streaming service, before it was actually supposed to. And then it was kind of came out right after that accidental leak. So it came out in January 2016. And I was always a Rihanna fan, but I thought her albums were kind of disposable. I thought they were kind of basically produced to make hits, produced to maybe not having a huge hand in the music, but she'd be on the songs and they'd be full of hits, but there'd be some filler there too. And I'd enjoy these albums, but they're not albums I would consider great or amazing. And I think Rihanna might have noticed this. We started the album with Consideration, which was a collaboration with SZA, who back then was a much smaller name than she is now also. And that, I think, is a great song to start the album because it really gets your attention. If you listen to the lyrics, she basically says she's not here to be anyone's pawn and she wants to do what she wants and not for anyone else, and they aren't going to respect her anyway, so she might as well make the music and do what she wants. So you listen to that song and you hear, okay, well, this is not going to be your typical pop star album. And that's why I think it's so great. Go through the album, and it's packed with so many different genres, so many different vibes living in this album. We have kind of like a jazz interlude called James Joint. It's one of the early tracks. It's just really a great interlude. It's such a moody album, and I think that's part of what makes it so great. It's like you can listen to it really anytime. Some of the other songs on this, we had Kiss It Better, which might be my all-time favorite Rihanna song. I think it really kind of sounds like a throwback to me, almost like a Prince song, which is such a 180 for her. And just super interesting, super catchy, but in a different way than her past music was. There's collaborations with Travis Scott on this album, with Woo. We have like a doo-wop ballad, Love on the Brain, which I'm sure most people have heard. There's not a song on here I really think is not good. I think that all of the songs have different purposes in the overall finished product. But I do think some songs are a little slighter than others. If there's one thing I would say about this album that I might have changed, it would be, fleshing out a few of these songs more. Take, for instance, the interlude James Joint, which, like I said, I love, but I think it could have been longer, as well with the last track, Higher, which is kind of this song Rihanna did on her own admittance, drunk in the studio, but it's such a fascinating, catchy song, and it's only about a minute something long. And I would have loved her to take some of these ideas and some of these songs and just fully, make them longer and kind of add more to them. So that's one of the album's flaws. I feel like after a 3-year wait, it is in a few ways a slight album. It's a short album, especially for her standards, but I have to say it's definitely my favorite Rihanna album. I think her best songs lie on this album, and it's a true call for independence for herself. I think she'd had enough of the industry and everything she'd been doing for about a decade, and she wanted to do things on her terms. And what we got is a really effective, really moody, really different album that can be played well past when it came out. I'm still listening to this album in late 2018. So I think I give the album overall about 4.5 stars out of 5. The half star I'm not giving it to because, like I said before, I think some of the songs could have been added to a little more. But it's great. I think it's a pop classic album. No, honestly, I feel kind of weird saying a pop album. It's more kind of an R&B album. Uh, but the thing is, it's great, and we're all looking to see what Rihanna has up her sleeve next. So come back next week, and I'm going to be doing a different review for you of a different album. Let me know what you think in the comments of these reviews. Let me know your take on them. And feel free to give me any ideas for future albums I'm going to review. Alright, till next week.